Hey, my Taurus babies, what's happening? This is EJ from Taurota Tarot. I hope everybody has had a good week. I hope you're going to have a good weekend. This is going to be Taurus Scorpio sitting in a tree. Kissing. And this is probably going to ride you right to the end of February. So there's some moving on energy, y'all. Mental conflict and fulfillment of wishes, but some separation going on with Taurus and oh yeah, choose wisely, oh boy. Yeah, y'all got some stuff going on. Get the cards down. So we're gonna do 3 for the recent past, 3 for current energy, and 3 for overall. 3 for future energy. Let me get it together. The 2 for overall, and then I got some new Rebel cards. I will throw those out as the oracle at the end, and maybe some other cards depending on how the reading goes. Yep, it's right there. Up all night, trying to figure out how you're gonna fulfill your wishes and dreams. There you go. This is not easy energy to deal with, Taurus. This is rather challenging, and you get humbled real quick. Yeah, which way you going? You get humbled real quick with this energy, because it will show you just what side the buckwheat the bear set in. So, with that said, we'll shuffle. Yeah, see all this walking away and shit. No, misery, misery, misery. All right, get the cards down here. And this that kind of energy, y'all. This is no joke. It's that kind of energy right now. Folks is breaking up like, ooh, y'all broke. Wait, what happened? Other situations, you saw them breaking up. You saw that one coming before it even got started. Let's see what we got going on here. Authority and accelerated motion. This is a reminder. I do my cards straight up. I don't do reversals. Thank you to everybody that has liked, shared, and subscribed on my channel. I love you dearly. Let's see what deception and envy. Always got to poke his head in the middle of some shit. Patience. Centerpiece is going to be material and spiritual prosperity. Triumph. That's the second time that's come up today. Sacrifice. Whoa. Triumphant success and partnerships and alliances. Okay. Let's get a little back. See what we got going on here. It's the Queen of Coins. It's definitely Taurus's energy. Accelerated motion. Queen of Swords. Oh yeah. Combat. Here we go. So material harvest pulls the Knight of Wands. Stand your ground pulls the 8 of Swords. Oh boy. Deception and envy pulls the Devil card. Patience. Current energy pulls the 2 of Cups. Material and spiritual prosperity pulls the 8 of Cups. Triumph pulls the 9 of Wands. Sacrifice pulls the 4 of Wands. Triumph and success pulls the Sun. Oh shit. And partnerships and alliances pulls the 6 of Coins. So just off the rip, if I'm looking at your future energy, whatever this is, Taurus, between you and your Scorpio, it's got some, let's just put it where the fuck it is. It's got some toxic energy in it. I'm not going to say to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it's got some toxic energy in it. Just look. Until, this is you, Taurus. Until you realize the sacrifices you want to make in a relationship, you're not going to be able to progress. You're not going to see no success until you stand up in your own truth. Wait a minute. And when you get generous, and I'm not just talking about material stuff, I'm just talking about other stuff, that stuff you can't necessarily, that money can't necessarily buy. This is when you open yourself up to partnerships and alliances. Now, let me say this, because I just did the weekend update for Taurus. Taurus, you are in and it's coming through in this reading too, you are kind of in shutdown mode, like, oh Jesus, no, I can't. And even though this is your overall energy, you want to be the authority in the relationship. Let me just put that where it is. What's getting you here is that you're getting kind of messy and possessive. And for Tauruses, that's not, people think that's unusual for us. It really isn't, because we're territorial creatures. You know, we like to lay around the meadow and do whatever and chase the daisies and smell the flowers. But at the end of the day, bulls are try to get on the back of one and see what all of them do. I'm just going to put it out there like it is. Bulls, by nature, are rather territorial. And so they don't like anything encroaching on. And when things feel like they're beginning to get out of control, and I know I said this recently in another Taurus reading, our tendency is to grit down and get controlling. And with that, we sometimes get a bit messy and possessive. So that's kind of our overall energy right now with Scorpio. The back end of your overall energy, the accelerated motion with the Princess of Swords, is getting tense. And you feel this, Taurus, and you kind of just, this is the energy you kind of just throwing off, but this is also the energy in your gut. You can feel like things are getting escalated to another level, and you're not necessarily comfortable with that. Coming out of your recent past with material harvest and the Knight of Wands, somebody may have been a bit careless. This may be for some of you where all of this started with your Scorpio. You may have been a bit careless with your money, and that might have opened the floodgates to a whole host of other things. Taurus, had to back that up and stand your ground. This is your recent past. But some of you had to come out of the closet with some stuff. You had to take them blinders off. A lot of you were just sitting in the closet holding the candle like, it's not really happening. It's not really happening. It's not really happening. And yeah, there's kind of that energy that's even kind of still there. It feels like, Taurus, you're being forced to see the reality of the whole situation, but this is recent past energy. You had to try to stand your ground, but you still, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. And even though this card really relates to your personal struggle intellectually on the cognitive level, that air energy with your beliefs and your values, it also lends a bit to what's going on around you. And you kind of got them horse blinders on. It's not happening. And you know something's happening. Damn it. What? And this is just really what's catching my attention is this oval between the two people. And it's just been a back and forth. You trigger something, they trigger something. You trigger something, they trigger something. And it just, at the end of the day, it just turns into a hot, toxic soup. I'm just saying, it's just fucking stew. Shitty ass stew. Everybody's mad. Everybody is petty at this level. When I see the Knight of Wands, I often think and feel immature. The energy is there. But whatever happened in your recent past, Taurus, it feels like you kind of just took a step back and you roll into your current energy and thought about the union itself. And this may resonate more with married Taurus, Scorpio couples, or long-term couples. Wherever you are right now, you're kind of trying to understand, why are we here? What are we doing? How did we get here? Why did I fall in love with you? And this came up in the Taurus reading, weekend update. Taurus, you need to, and I'm going to say the same thing I said for that reading, I'm going to say it here. You need to have some patience with yourself. You're changing. And I think just overall, when it gets down to it, we forget that. We are in the middle of a massive transformation. And so there's a lot of things that may be going on. You may be triggering your partner into some craziness and not even realize it, because you're changing. And you're changing at such a level that it's just affecting everything. And so with that said, you need to have some patience with yourself. You also need to have some patience with your little water sign thing, Scorpio. I'm just saying. That's the way the energy is coming back. Taurus, your challenge, your centerpiece and your challenge in this reading in order for you to have the kind of material and spiritual prosperity that you want in this relationship, and I don't know, we keep coming back to money. Whoever did whatever they did with the money. Just saying, I'm looking at all that water. The Taurus is standing there. What did you do with my money? Oh, Lord, what did you do with my money? In order for you to have any kind of material or spiritual prosperity, you have got to rise above the emotional. And when I say that, I'm coming right back here. There's some emotional things towards that you probably need to work on and process. I know y'all like, lady, what you telling me about my emotions for? Because you're going through a change. Just like anybody goes through any kind of change. Females go through the change when they stop having a cycle. That's a lot of emotional shit. And a lot of times, and this is a totally different subject, but it fits this. A lot of times, as women, if you're going through the change, you don't even realize at the cellular level what it's doing. You just know it's hot one minute, it's cold the next. Your stomach's hurting, now it's not hurting. Now your back's hurting, now your head's hurting. What the hell? And that's just simply your body adjusting and reacting to the levels of hormones changing. Same thing can be said with Uranus transiting through Taurus for the next 6 and however many months we got left of this bullshit. It's changing us, and we may not necessarily be aware of how it's coming out, because it's new to us too. So, come back to the recent past. You need to evaluate what your values and your beliefs are. And before I put the cards down, I can feel the tension. Taurus, you need to evaluate what your values and your beliefs are as they relate to your relationship with your Scorpio. Because maybe it's time to make some adjustments versus y'all getting into this toxic shit. Because nobody knows what the fuck is going on. And that's okay to not know. But to say, I know I'm going through something. Ultimately, if one of you is going through something, the relationship is going through something. And instead of just bouncing around and triggering each other, and Taurus, yeah, you too. See, and all this pokes its head out when you get into that toxic shit, you know, because then it gets petty and you got a whole lot of other bullshit going on. Rising above all that emotional cup shit. And this is speaking to Scorpio and getting onto some terra firma. And Taurus, you may have to do this by yourself. You know, it's no sense in parading around the house. Hey, you need to get off the emotional. Yeah, okay, that ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. Your challenge here, if you want to stay in this relationship, I'm gonna come right back here. Maybe first, after you get a little patience with yourself in a relationship, you need to determine if this is the way you're growing, Taurus. You may be growing in another direction, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why people end up divorced, end up breaking up. That's what happens. One or the other person changes. They no longer see things as they saw them when they got into the relationship. But you've got to get real honest about some shit, and a lot of that has to do with you dealing with your own fears, because you may come to the conclusion this is not working for you anymore. When you get to the end, your challenge is to get some of this in balance. I know in the Taurus weekend update reading, Temperance came out along with the Patience card, and I think the Justice card. It's just the overall thing of being in balance, or getting back in balance, or allowing the universe to get you back in balance. Saying the same thing here. Getting off the emotional, getting onto some solid ground in your relationship if this is what you're going to do. But really, Taurus, I'm talking to you, even though this is Scorpio's card, you may need to, for yourself, get more grounded. Emotionally, particularly. Because emotionally, you might be all over the place. And it's just because we're going through this planetary energy change, shift, whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's changing you. And a lot of things are changing. You look around you, a lot of things are changing. A lot of people are changing. Not what you thought they were. Or they're just very openly becoming something else. Just saying. Be mindful of that. Be patient with yourself. And see where you need to make the adjustment. That is sitting under the 8 of Swords is no mistake. looking at your values and your beliefs and seeing how they're serving you now, or if the situation that you're in now is it serving you. It might not be. You can have this as long as you don't blow it out of proportion. And that can be with or without your Scorpio. For some of you, there's termination energy here. For others of you, you're going to plow through this and try to hang on and turn this around and make it into something else. But don't over exaggerate what's going on in a relationship. That will help you be triumphant, if you will, and be successful at trying to navigate this energy. I'm not really getting, for those of you that are looking at the double card, like, what kind of third party? I'm not really getting third party energy. What I'm getting when it comes to the deception and envy part, and I don't know why I'm stopping here, so somebody needs to hear this. When it comes to this, it's that petty shit. It's this really silly, no, I didn't take the remote. You took it. That shit right there. Why'd you leave the refrigerator door open? Just because you're changing and things are irritating the hell out of you. And so you trigger it and you get into these little toxic mini cycles. And you trigger and they trigger and you trigger and they trigger and you just on and it feeds off of itself. And so the object here is to get out of that energy. I don't, again, feel like there's this is not third party type shit. This is all dynamics within the relationship without anybody's interference, if you will. And Taurus, you got a lot of this because you are changing. When we get to the future energy with the 4 of Wands sitting on the sacrifice, is what I said when I started. Looking at what you need to sacrifice, what you want to sacrifice in order to have this. If you want your relationship to go up a step, you're going to have to look at this because you're changing. And if you're trying to adjust your view on everything, the sacrifices that are going to have to be made, and then they're not going to be the same ones because you're not the same person. So this is going to look different than it did 3 years ago. I'm just saying. But in order to move this up, it's possible. It can go either way. I got both energies. You can end it right now, or you can just plow through. I think it feels like a lot of you were just going to try and ride this out, you know, and go to your respective corners and figure some shit out. But some of you may decide to walk away. And so if you get into the future energy and you decided you don't want to do this anymore, you still need to look at the sacrifices if you want to get into another relationship at some later date that you're going to need to make to get here, to step it up. One more time. That success comes when you stand up in your own light. And so you had a lot of major energy on the board for this relationship, Taurus. You got the devil, you got this, but in combination with the 8 of Swords and the 2 of Cups and the 8 of Cups, that becomes movement energy. Things that need to happen, action that needs to happen. And a lot of it is how you're looking at things and how you're processing things and how you're trying to navigate through this energy. The one thing that you can do that'll always set you free and whatever struggle you have is to stand up in your own light and stand up in your own truth. And that means speaking how you really feel about whatever's going on and speaking about what you think you see. There's no sense in, you know, I thought I saw you pick the phone up. Ain't no sense in mumbling about it. Get it out in the air. Get everything out in the open. That's the only way you can be successful. Whether you stay or whether you go, I'm just saying, get it out there in the open. Stand up in your truth, Taurus. At the end of this, generosity, partnerships and alliances. For those of you that will stay, that want to stay, you're going to have to be more generous. And like I said, generous not just with your money. Some of this is about being generous with things that are priceless. Your time, sharing your feelings at a deeper level, and doing things from a sense of abundance. Even if you don't have it, doing it anyway. Digging deep and trying to get to the core of what's going on. especially with you, what's going on in your head. Get some of that out. And Scorpios like to talk, so I know Scorpios tripping. This is where some of this is coming from. Because Taurus, you on shutdown mode. You're like, fuck, I can't do nothing else. Which that is not doing anything but just giving gas, feeding gas to just toxic situations. You know, you thinking about it, you saying it, and it's just a hot mess. Take a minute, Taurus. Take a step back. Think about what you really want out of this relationship with your Scorpio. If it is something that is going to serve you moving forward. If it's not, don't sit around and dick around waiting on somebody to say something for you. Start opening your mouth. I don't feel the same. And see, people can't be mad at you when you start coming out with the truth. I'm sorry. If they're mad at you for the truth, you ain't need them anyway. I just put that where it is. Right there. The truth is the truth. How you feel is how you feel. Now, whether or not you overly are feeling something and you being messy and possessive and overly emotional and some other shit, that's one thing. But if you are not articulating to your partner, because that's who you should be talking to, not everybody else, you should be talking to your partner about what's going on so you can get out of this little cycle. It doesn't feel like it's a major narcissistic type thing, but just it's a cycle that y'all are in. You can get out of it. You can definitely get out of it and dispel a whole lot of whatever you think you thought you heard. But the only way to do that is to get all of it out in the light. Might have to have one of them Saturday night talks. Make a good dinner and sit down and start talking. For those of you that may be feeling like you can't talk about it, get a journal, start journaling. Start journaling. So the first card that popped out, you do you. Stop trying to change people. That shit never works. You heard it, Taurus. You do you. Stand up in your sunshine. Oh man, the cards, they don't lie. They just don't lie. Make better fucking choices. If you are pissed at where you are, then stop taking yourself there. Make better fucking choices. This right here. If you are pissed at where you are, then stop taking yourself there. I'm just saying, all up in your head with some shit. And the better choice at this point would be to communicate how you're feeling. I'm just saying. Just gonna throw that out there. Drop the fucking ego. Oh my. Vulnerability is hot as fuck. Drop the fucking ego. Vulnerability is hot as fuck. So, okay, where some of this toxicity is coming in. However that's resonating. Scorpio, Taurus, either one. But drop your ego. That may be some of the problem. You got your ego in the way and you don't want to admit something and you may have been wrong and accusing somebody of something. Y'all know. Y'all know. Drop your ego and get vulnerable. Taurus, come out of that damn shutdown shit. That emotional shutdown shit. I can feel it. Y'all just like, I can't do anything else. I don't want to change. You got to come out of that. You got to come out of that. Let's see. Shit is going down with your job. Reevaluate, change your perspective, or fucking quit. So somebody needs to hear that. As that may be playing a part of what's going on here in your relationship. Shit is going down on your job. Reevaluate, change your perspective, or fucking quit. So whoever that needs to hear that, and some of this may be coming from your job, some of the stress and the tension that you're feeling, I put that up here in your overall energy, that very well could be what's going on, and you're bringing that shit home along with all the other changes you're going through, and you're not dealing with it, and maybe you need to deal with that as well, Taurus and Scorpio. If that's resonating with you, well, damn it, you too Shit is going down with your job. Just deal with it, change your perspective, and quit. There you go. Don't get no easier than that. One more card. We've got 4 on the board yet. One more card, universe. One more card. Don't talk to anyone. Don't look at anyone. You need some fucking time alone, and you know why. Oh, Lord. Don't talk to anyone. Don't look at anyone. You need some fucking time alone, and you know why. So whoever that's resonated with. And I know I just said, if you are not able to get into any kind of conversation with your other Taurus, with your Scorpio, get a journal. Whatever inside work you need to do, because that's what this feels like for a lot of you. It's shit you just let well up and bubble up between your job, people getting on your damn nerves, and some other shit. And so now it's just, and you just in shutdown mode. You can't be in shutdown mode, but a good way to get balance, get yourself in this, just shut up. Don't talk to nobody. Don't look at nobody. Get some downtime. Think about what you want to do. Think about any sacrifices that you're making or that you need to make in the future. And just think about changing your perspective on what's going on. Taurus, Scorpio, I love you. I hope you guys have a good rest of the month, a good start to February and Valentine's Day. And I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.